Hi, everybody. This is Kevin with Leading Edge Financial Planning. I'm a CFP professional as well as a CPA. And today we're being joined here with Andy Christopher, who is a certified financial analyst, also with Leading Edge Financial Planning, and also does lead financial planning with Leading Edge. So Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into what we need to think about for United Pilots.
Yeah, you got it. So my background, like Kevin said, I'm a lead planner at Leading Edge. Spent 10 years active duty as a F-18 Super Hornet pilot in the Navy, and then got out about 4 or 5 years ago. Been in the financial services industry ever since.
So Super Hornet, is that a tanker, that kind of
Yeah,
thing, or
and this one's a good one. Yeah, the PRAP provides a
yeah.
lot of planning opportunities.
Right. So we're going to title this one, 2024, what to do, what choices to make as a captain. The next video that we make, we will say choices for a first officer or people that are making a little bit less per hour. So Andy, let's jump into the dynamics here of retirement. I'm going to pull up a slide here and just talk a little bit about the mission. The mission is all about showing up to retirement and having the right money in the right places. And so, and then I'm going to add a fourth one here with the the RHA, and say, that's another bucket that we think at least should be considered. So when you're arriving at retirement, if retirement was tomorrow, what are you looking at? Well, you want to have enough money in these deferred accounts. And the reason why you put the money in those deferred accounts is because you wanted to defer tax back in the day. So that, flying below the radar, if you have a certain amount of money in those IRAs, 401ks, et cetera, you can pull money out and fly below the really high tax brackets, Andy. And then the Roth accounts, you have either a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. When you show up to retirement with these dollars, really the benefit here is that you can strategically remove or leave a legacy with those dollars. So there's no tax due in retirement. So that's really, everybody talks about the Roth, is excited about the Roth, but we think there's really a good strategy here to balance out the monies you're putting into both of those. And then the taxable account, this has absolutely nothing to do with retirement accounts, but we think it's a great idea to think about these in tandem when you're going to put money into a 401k or a PRAP program, because let's face it, if you put all the money in here and you don't have any more money, you cannot put it into a taxable account. And then the one that we have to add to this slide here is the RHA. And the RHAs, we look at it, the primary mission there is to show up to retirement. And man, healthcare is expensive. You need a new kidney, you want a 3D print your right arm or whatever in the future. I mean, you might need a tremendous amount of funds, and we've seen inflation just go crazy in the healthcare space. And the RHA will allow to reduce the risk of future healthcare expenses. So Andy, if you want to comment on like how you think about what you do today, reverse engineer back to today to try to set yourself up for that type of a future.
Yeah, great slide, great primer, Kevin. I think when you talk about Roth versus pre-tax money, you hit the nail on the head. People love Roth because they love not paying taxes, but keep in mind, right, if you're in the 32% marginal tax bracket today, and then you think you're going to be in, say, a 24 or less, really anything less than what you paid the taxes on, that Roth doesn't really do us any good, right? And so we want to be strategic about how we get money into the Roth. But certainly for some people, young FO, new hire, like that's the jam right there, right? Is get the money into the Roth. Potentially, right? Everyone's situation is going to be different. Their financial and tax situation is different, right? And then account diversity, like you said, hey, I like showing up to retirement, or I want to show up to retirement with all three levers I can pull to minimize my taxes and make strategic withdrawals to support my lifestyle. So I think that's the first piece there. And then you hit the nail on the head, right? That RHA. I mean, we're looking at some studies here. What is it going to cost? Right? It could cost up to $200,000, right? Of just money needed to sustain your life from a
Per
health
person,
care
is that
cost
right?
per. Yeah, I think so. I mean, either if
Yeah.
yeah, per person, right? So That's a lot of money, right? And we don't do enough. We don't give it enough credit, right? When we start thinking about retirement planning, that RHA is a fantastic way to start saving for some of those
Yeah.
expenses.
Let me just say that, when we look at retirement brochures, we always see people on Adirondack chairs or surfing, swimming. We never see them in a hospital bed. That's not exciting to think about that kind of stuff. We see, driving fast cars, big houses, all that stuff. And we want people to have all that. But being able to have healthcare freedom in the future, you need a lot of money for that. But go ahead.
No doubt, no doubt. Nope. I think that's the thing to take away there is, yeah, there are some downsides to the RHA, right? That we'll certainly get into, but don't knock it as the thing to be avoided at all costs, right? There's some huge benefits to getting money into that thing.
Right, right. And once again, this all comes down to modeling and trying to figure out what goes where. So for our United pilots that are saying, all right, I like to fly planes. I don't want to go into deep Excel files to figure this stuff out. Is there any rules of thumb? And again, your situation may vary. Please see disclaimer. We'll have to just keep saying that. But what are some rules of thumb that you think about when deciding about where to put a pilot's money going forward here?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to make sure I max out that 401k, right? So saving for retirement, whether that's pre-tax money, Roth money, like let's just get that bucket filled, because that's my primary savings vehicle for thinking about retirement. So solving for
Mhm.
that, and then once we solve for that piece there, I think it's thinking about, well, how much am I really going to need for healthcare? And again, as you noted, we're gonna plan backwards on that. And then, am I contributing enough into that RHA or HRA, right? To your situation dependent, uh, to achieve that goal. United is going to solve some of that for you, especially for high earners, based upon some of those IRS limits out there. And we can take a look at an example of what that might look like. But that's just it, right? So, like anything else from retirement savings, at least from my perspective, is we start. Let's get the emergency savings right. Let's get retirement savings, healthcare right. All those things. Let's just start chipping away at those buckets.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's say I'm a pilot and I don't want to save anything. Um, have you put together any case studies for someone like me that just doesn't want to put a dollar in?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's say you're that senior wide body captain. So based on the 2024 contract, right? If you fly about 85 hours a month, 447, you're over age 50. Cool. You're gonna make a lot of money, right? You're gonna make a lot of
Hmm.
money this year. And so you might say, like, 401k taken care of. I make so much money, that thing's gonna get maxed out. So keep in mind, right? United's gonna put 58,650 uh, in that 401k. Now you might be thinking,
Hmm.
but wait a second, the limit here, if I'm over 50, is 76,500. So why am I not filling that bucket all the way up? And that has to
Hmm.
do with the IRS 401a 17 limit. So if you make over $345,000, right, for 2024, United can no longer put any more money into the PRAP or the 401k. So that's where it stops right there. Yeah, go ahead,
So
Kevin.
that's the sandbox that our pilots can
That's right.
play in, that 345 of income. Even if they make 450 or 500, it doesn't matter.
That's exactly right. Yeah. This pilot here would probably make about $480,000, right,
Right.
of income this year. So they're still capped at 345 times 17%, the non-elected contribution. That gets you to 58,650. Cool. So if your goal was to put none of your own money away, just keep in mind that you're still not going to max out that PRAP account right there.
What's happening with that HRA and the RHA?
Yep. So then, of course, United is still contractually obligated to pay you 17%, right? That's in the contract. But even though they can't
Hmm.
fill the PREP, it's got to go somewhere. So where's it going to go, right? So this is where we get our 401a 17 excess. And the
Hmm.
first 10,000 is going to go into that HRA, RHA. So $10,000, you don't have any control over this. So if we look at an example of someone who just doesn't want any money to go into the HRA, this is kind of out of your control here. You'll notice there's another thousand or so dollars being put in here. This is coming from that $1 per flight hour that United is making into your HRA RHA. So about 11,000 bucks into the RHA, and then the remaining amount is going to be spill cash, right? So the 401A17 excess, remember we said this is an individual making about 486,000. So once you hit the 10,000 into the HRA, RHA, they're going to start paying that 17% out as cash. So the end result is all your money, you didn't defer any of it, all right? So you owe taxes on it at that pretty high marginal tax bracket. You didn't get the PRAP fully filled up here. You got about 11,000 into the HRA, and then towards the end of the year, probably around November, December here, we started getting money flowing in, just
Yeah.
cash, right, coming through.
Yeah, so maybe this was a pilot that's worked for United for many years and saved a ton of money at the beginning. And
Yeah.
or they married well, or they had rich parents. I mean, there's lots of reasons why someone might go this way. So we don't want to say that, this is not something that some
Totally.
people should do. But again, this concerns us a little. We have to say that from as financial planners, this worries us a little to not see all those buckets filled up. So Andy,
No
what's the
doubt.
next example that you have there? Is it a pilot that's trying to maximize RHA, or yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's take a look. So same exact senior wide body captain, right? So
Mhm.
85 hours, 447, age 50, but now she's going to put 12% in of her own
Mhm.
money, right? Whether that be
Mhm.
pre-tax or Roth, into the PRAP. So now we can
Mhm.
see the 30,500, because once you get over age 50, you have the 7,500 catch up contributions in there. Otherwise, you're limited to 23,000. And now we see what's happening, right? So previously, United was putting that 58,650 in. Now it's 46,000. So how are we getting to 46,000 as opposed to 58,650? Well, now we're looking at the 415C limit, another IRS limit here, which says the most you can get into a 401k is 76,500. Again, age 50 and older, 69,000 if you're younger than that. So now we've got two spill mechanisms here that's
Mhm.
happening. We have the 415C excess. Again, United has to pay you the 17% non-elective
Mhm.
contribution. So
Mhm.
once they hit this 76,500, now we start spilling into the HRA, RHA. That excess amount is always going to go. There is no cash spill on the 415C excess. And then once we hit that 345,000, now we start getting that 10,000, first 10,000 coming in for a total of
Yep.
23,670. Again, in this particular person's example here, and we have that same amount of spill cash coming across. So this is what your accounts look like. You maxed out the PRAP here. You got another 23,000 HRA, RHA, and then you got that spill cash coming your way.
Yeah, well done, Andy. And we'll talk later about, should you want to have extra money in the RHA, but today we're just going
Yeah.
to go forward and say that you do. So that chart there about the amount of savings, I see company contributions, pilot deferral. And so
Hmm.
this captain in August is getting all spillover at that point. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So by July, you can see we've maxed out the 76,500 with our own contributions, our company contributions, our pilot deferral. Yep. And then the top part there is going to be some of that spill coming over the top.
Right, right. And I'll say this, us financial planners, we love getting dollars going places automatically because then we don't have the ability to spend it. And this is always a pleasant situation when we talk to our pilots in the end of the summer and they're like, now my paycheck is rocking and rolling because I filled all those buckets up. So that is a reason we think to do it, to feel good at the end of the summer that you've filled up all the buckets that could be filled, Andy.
Yeah, let's just say we got the same captain beginning of the year. She goes, you know what? I don't like the RHA. Don't want to put any more money than I have to into this account. So again, same exact individual here. And now we're looking at, well, the goal is I want to fill up that PRAP limit of 76,500. I want to take
Hmm.
advantage of the full non-elected contribution using that 401(a)(17) limit, so the 58,650. So how much money do I need to put in of my own money into the PRAP so that I put up to and right at 76,500, but I don't have any of the 415C excess. So that number, it's easy math, right? 17,850. So you can set that up on Schwab, either percentage or you can put dollar amounts in and just say, you know what? I don't want any 415 spill here coming across.
Right. 850, that could either go pre-tax or it could go Roth. And so it doesn't have to be pre-tax. It's just all we're saying is that you have
That's
to
right.
put that part into it to maximize the amount that's going into the PRAP program. And if you did put Roth money in, theoretically, that Roth money is worth more than regular pre-tax money, but we'll get into that in another video. So
Yep.
Andy, what's going on here with the HRA, RHA?
Yeah, I'll just say that pilot contribution, you're exactly right, Kevin, or after tax money. I don't know necessarily why you would do that, but the new PREP feature is that you don't have to max out your 30,500 before putting the after tax contributions in. So you kind of have three levers you can pull there. But you're right, the standard one there is that Roth or pre-tax.
Yeah, the reason for the after-tax contribution in my eyes is if you're not a high earner like this and you want to maybe get more money into the position to be Roth money. So that to me is the reason for the after-tax, but go ahead.
So this was the goal. The captain just remind everybody was, hey, I don't want any money coming in via 415C. You can see you're still getting the 10,000 401(a)(17) spill, right? You don't have any real control over that. That's going to happen regardless. So you're still getting $11,000, assuming right the dollar per flight hour here, coming into the RHA annually and maxing out the bucket. So again, there's no right answer here. It's going to be everyone's situation and hopes and dreams, right? Dependent on how this goes. But there's certainly a lot of things to think about as you're planning for your year and how you want money to come in into those different buckets, if you will.
So what was interesting to me about scenario one versus scenario three, the person that didn't want to put in any money versus the person that wanted to fulfill the PRAP is that the spill cash and the RHA, I think were very similar. Is that right?
Yeah, between 1 and 3, that's exactly right. No difference at all.
Up the PRAP here.
That's right. That's it. That's what you've got. That's what you got going for you.
We got a pilot that's been with United just for a few years, already upgraded. I don't know which base that would be. Probably be the worst base in the country to be able to upgrade that quickly. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know how quickly a pilot could upgrade. But they don't have a lot of money in the RHA because they've not made a lot of money in the past, and now they're a captain. There's a new contract, and they're like all of a sudden they're afraid of healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're this great primer, you want to maximize the money coming into the RHA. This example here is just a theoretical example. There's a lot of ways to do this, and just this is the previous examples were pretty cut and dry on what you got to do. This is a little bit different. But let's just say, for example, right, this is that same pilot. Hey, they're making probably close to $40,000 a month. That's obviously pre-tax. But let's say you wanted to max out that PRAP, right? Remember, we have that 415C limit, the 76,500. Well, you've got to fill that bucket to then get the 415C excess rocking and rolling for you. So you can make some pretty jumbo contributions here. Again, you are limited to 30,500 Roth pre-tax, then you can make after-tax contributions. So that's what we're showing here. While you're doing that, United is still making that 17% non-elective contribution. Then all of a sudden, pretty quickly, right? We're talking like January, February, March, we've filled that bucket all the way up again, just in this example, up to 76,500. So then what do we start getting at that point? We start spilling for the rest of the months. We're first going to spill into the 415 C here. So that's going to put about 44,000 or 45,000 into the HRA. And then once we hit that 345,000 or so here in the the fall time frame, then we start rocking on the 401A 17 excess where the 10,000 comes in with the same spill cash here. So same example all the way across. If this time you were able to get close to 56,000 into that RHA while still maxing out that PRAP contribution. Oh, by the way, that after-tax contribution you were making, you can immediately, not immediately, but Schwab will automatically allow you to convert that into the Roth 401k. So again,
Yeah.
we'll call this tools in the tool shed here.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy. I mean, we're going to get into the next video or so why RHA is great and why it's not so great. And we think there is a good amount of money that might be put into an RHA. Again, it's especially important about what your goals are, and if you're married and that kind of stuff. You know, do you have a military TRICARE or long-term care? I mean, these are all reasons to think about this. And so we'll discuss a little bit about the use it or lose it and all the other parts of the RHA. So we don't know if anyone really should do that, Andy, but that is something that could be done. So we've talked about the captain. We don't care about the person in the right seat. So I think maybe the next video that we do, we can actually go through first officer decision making thought process here, and yeah. So we would love any feedback on this video. If you liked Andy putting together all those case studies, I think it's the best way to learn is to say, and then the best way to really learn is when you do it on yourself because you care the most about you. Let's face it. What's in it for you is always important. So Andy, what else about this idea of strategizing for 2024? What other items do you have for our pilots?
No, I think that's the big one there, Kevin, is just thinking about how you want to fill that PRAP bucket up. When do you want to fill it up? What do you expect your income to be for the year if you're going to start hitting those 345,000, that 401A 17 limit? And then really, how much do you want spilling into the RHA? And again, this is a 2024 problem. 2025, we're kind of playing a totally different ball game at that point there. So that'll look a little bit different.
Leading Edge Financial Planning, LLC is a registered investment advisor. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Leading Edge Financial Planning and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. For additional information, please visit our website at www.leadingedgeplanning.com. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, and it should not be relied on as such. It should not be considered a solicitation to buy or an offer to sell a security. It does not take into account any investor's particular investment objectives, strategies, tax status, or investment horizon. You should consult your attorney or tax advisor. The views expressed in this commentary are subject to change based on market and other conditions. These documents may contain certain statements that may be deemed forward-looking statements. Please note that any such statements are not guarantees of any future performance, and actual results or developments may differ materially from those projected. Any projections, market outlooks, or estimates are based upon certain assumptions and should not be construed as indicative of actual events that will occur. All information has been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but its accuracy is not guaranteed. There is no representation or warranty as to the current accuracy, reliability, or completeness of, nor liability for, decisions based on such information, and it should not be relied on as such.